Hi, shalom friends. Often it's helpful to contrast different languages or different usages of language. And in the English language, the word good is almost always used as an adjective. So we have good food, we have a good book, a person can have a good heart, a person could be good-willed, and so on. And in all of these examples, and there are tons of such examples, the word good is modifying, explaining, trying to express something about the food, about the book, about the person, a good-hearted person, and so on. But my question was to myself, actually, because someone wished me a good day. And I was thinking, what does it mean, a good day? So I decided to look up in the source of all knowledge, which is the Bible, the Chumash, to see how is the word good used in the Bible. And I noticed a remarkable observation, and that is the first time the word good is used, it's used not as an adjective, and certainly not like an adverb, but actually as a noun. The first time is in the beginning of Genesis, and God created light, and he saw that it was good. So right now we know that there's an association of light, which is good, or good, which is light. Almost a synonym. Not exactly, but almost. What does it mean that light is good? And perhaps is this a lesson for all of us to understand what does it mean good? When you think about light, not in its deep philosophical form, or not even in the scientific form, on the very practical, prosaic level, when it's dark, we do not see. When there's light, we can see. Well, what does that actually mean? So let's go back again. Light does not create a reality. If you're sitting in an empty room and it's dark, and then you open up the light, the room is not suddenly filled with furniture or people. What light enables us to do is to observe a reality that exists outside of us. So if you're sitting in a dark room, there might be people, there might be objects, there might be things literally across the street, across the room from you. You're not alone, and there's no reason to be lonely, or there's no reason to be crestfallen because whatever you need is actually on a chair. But when it's dark, you're not aware of that. The only thing that you are aware of is that you exist with all of your needs, but you have no idea, is there anything outside of you? Now, you might use imagination. As children often do, they would imagine a monster in the room when it's dark. And then someone opens up the light and says, you see, there's no monster here. Where's the monster? Yes, the light clarified the reality. There was nothing there. At the same time, when you're sitting in darkness, you could deny a reality. There might be someone in that room concerned about you, watching over you, protecting you, and in the darkness you might feel alone and forlorn. So light essentially means the ability not only to perceive, but to truly understand that as you exist, there are other forms of existence, and now that you both exist, there has to be created a form of expression that you're able to relate to what's outside of you. So in certain times you'll keep a distance, other times you'll try to get closer. Certain times you'll be uplifted and gratified that this object is close or far from you. At the same time, it could create different emotions. But without light, you cannot relate that there is something else there. So now let's think about this a little bit deeper. If light is synonymous or nearly synonymous with the word goodness, let's look in the Chumash and find a place where God uses the expression, it is not good. And again, it's in chapter 2 of Genesis, again in the very early descriptions of history of mankind. And we read that when God created man, he was not aware that he had a spouse essentially as part of his personality. So he was alone, and he was lonely. And he looked around and saw all of creation and did not find an inner satisfaction. And then God said, I will make for him a helpmate. And indeed, created for him the female. And he opens up his eyes, and there's an instant rapport that you are a part of me, I am a part of you. And hence, our relationship will be the most intense, beautiful, and satisfying of all relationships that are possible. What was Adam missing? He was able to see, so he saw an entire universe. He had a mind which we cannot even imagine how brilliant and pure and uncluttered it was. What was he missing? What was not good? What was not good is that everything that did exist was one-dimensional. How can he use them either for personal benefit or on a higher spiritual level to bring the world to a higher form of expression? How to use it to serve God. But true goodness is not only relating to an object or especially a person outside of you, but creating a meaningful relationship. And in this case, Adam had no one to give to. He had no one to serve. He had no one to commit to. They existed for him. He existed for God. Where does he get a chance to exist for someone who's outside of him? And hence, that beautiful, intense relationship between men and women, especially as expressed in marriage. But in a general way, in the idea of man serving man, that is good. To notice, to accept, to relate, and to try to bring meaning into this relationship between you and the other. Of course, God cannot be defined. And yet, the Kabbalists do give us descriptions which enable us to connect to him. And one of their most beautiful is the following, that God is the essence of good. If there's one type of an emotion or one form of an expression that we could see most, the godliness, the sacredness, the holiness, the upliftedness, the selflessness, in fact, maybe even the eternity, would be goodness. The essence of God is good. And as a corollary, that from good comes goodness. In fact, in the Yiddish language, which is probably close to 800 years or maybe even more, which was the language of the majority of Jews in Europe, when we say the word good, it's like a German word, gut. But when we want to express God with a capital G, O-D, we say gut. You don't have to be a linguist to hear the similarity. Gut, gut. God is goodness. Goodness is a reflection of God. Well, God made us in his image. Goodness is what man is all about. Goodness entails light, to see others and to relate to others. There are certain times of the year which God gives us a holiday. In Hebrew, it's called Yom Tov, a good day. What makes this day good? Partially, what makes this day good is not only that man exists because God wishes him to exist, but there's an interplay or an interaction between the two, between the chosen people and the one that chose them, where the one that chose them chooses to reveal himself, to spend time in an intimate way with his people. And the people accept it with love and come to the Holy Temple to be seen and to see. If you go deeper, you will see that in biblical literature, God tells us, I am giving you a holiday, and he's very emphatic. And you shall rejoice with the orphan, with the widow, with the Levi who has no share in the land, and with the poor. Amazing. What is a holiday / a good day? A good day is when you have people in need, when you have downtrodden people, broken-hearted people being uplifted by you, and with your resources, you're able to do that for them. This is a holiday. This is a true Yom Tov. And indeed, we have that beautiful assurance that God says, if you will take care of mine, which is the widow and the orphan, etc., I will take care of yours, which is your son, your daughter, your possessions, etc. as well. So perhaps we can now project, have a good day is not just a flippant remark. Perhaps there's a deeper message. Have a good day means fill the day being good. Or to put it a little bit differently, see the world around you in a manner where goodness can be expressed. Well, if you can have a good day, I assure you it will be a great one. Shalom.